elected to go out at that way.
And you go.
Yeah, the one that's got some
Stand
meetings.
nails, stand nails.
All right, we're live, guys.
And then,
Right now?
Yeah, I know, but on the other side, when you text me something that requires more information.
it won't help.
Because I'm not
I
gonna
married
waste
into
my
that
time.
family, but they didn't like
Here,
it.
Joe.
Hey, Jeff. Oh, we're live? Did I hear we're live? We're live.
Yeah, I did.
Joe, that knee is
I want to sit
No, I was just, yeah.
Yeah, we have one item.
No, that one-
Yeah, we have one item.
So then basically, they might hear this voice coming up.
Can you click on camera?
You're my favorite person before. You're my favorite person before show.
I found out what they do is they have a lot of posting on the agenda as opposed to the room.
Yeah, are we live officially?
She said we're live.
We're live on Facebook, we're not live on the,
That's it.
we're not live on our website.
You know what, I found that.
Nowhere does it say copy link.
Tioga, because I was asking, because they just do audio. I said, well, they do the agenda. It's just the agenda.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
They just do it so they can copy
Well, we've got a screen like that. So that moves during the, as we go down the agenda. Yeah, because that, yeah.
No, just,
I don't know why, but it just would be.
I
have no reason that I can really articulate. It just seems like it would be better.
Oh, it's just technical crap. It just.
Although he called me yesterday afternoon, I thought, it's always right before.
As the escrow
looks like we've got 2 minutes.
is opposed to, yeah, that's fine. You know, prefer it that way. Yeah, you know what, I originally had, because that was, he went to a patent. That's.
Joe, you're in, you can't see. This side of the table, you can't see.
Brian's gonna be a little late.
Maybe late, but he's coming, but
I
we.
think we ought to just switch with the person across from us. And that we should be in good shape.
I think our board should be the ones that are especially him.
Camera, the cameras. Continue to pay.
Or when you're not looking.
I said the best place to be at this table is right behind Dan.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, really?
It's a pleasure to see you anyway. It's just,
Oh, Mr. Rose has arrived.
We are almost there.
They probably never had to the bar once because they look at you and say, forget it.
Okay, may I have your attention, please? We are live streaming from this point forward. So I would ask Tom, be on your best behavior, Tom.
I said that earlier, I noticed that Carrie, who's sitting in the corner, put all of us on this side. I don't know if it's coincidence.
Very smart.
Spread that around, okay?
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency of January 15th, 2020. What are we doing here? We're doing oath of offices, or are we doing nomination of officers? Oh, yeah, oath of offices, thank you.
Good morning or good afternoon all. Let's see how well how good you are at following directions, okay? Would everyone raise their right hand and repeat after me? I
I, John J. Stevens,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of member of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency
of member of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Okay. Nomination of officers. Is there a nomination for chairperson?
I will nominate John Bernardo as chairman of the board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Vice chair, I will nominate Wayne as vice chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Jim? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? For secretary,
I'll nominate Rich Bucci.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And for treasurer,
And I like John Stevens.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so our officers are selected for the coming year. Looking at the agenda, approval of the minutes of the December 18th, 2019 board meeting. We've all had a chance to review them, I presume. Are there any questions, comments, additions, deletions, suggested changes?
I'll move to accept them.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second? Dan, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving onward, we come to the part of our agenda where we have a public comment period. Anybody wishing to speak, please stand up. State your name and address for the record.
I'll stand this stall.
We're gonna close the public comment period. We move on to the executive director's report. Stacy.
Yeah, just a few things, really. First, thank you to all the board members that were able to attend our discussion with the board members of the Greater Binghamton Chamber of Commerce on January 9th, a facilitated discussion by Susan Payne. You have in your folders just a draft of some of the concepts we created for sort of how we would define this alliance between the agency and the chamber. We then met with staff in the afternoon. I thought it was a very productive conversation. We relayed to them what our discussion was, and some action items came out of that, which I will share with the board at a later date. And also, I think one of our next steps would be a broader, I'd say, community stakeholder discussion that I'll get some more information to you on. But thank you again for committing that time. I know it's something that doesn't come easily with our calendars. A couple other items, if you're not aware, some good news, it's a little dated, but great news, as we were the top performer for the Southern Tier, the Regional Economic Development Council funding. The Southern Tier region was the highest awardee at $88.9 million, so great news for the Southern Tier. That supported about 109 projects throughout the 8-county region. Some projects of note here in Broome are the Lupos expansion manufacturing facility project. One that we identified as a priority project is planned to redevelop 4143 Court Street in downtown Binghamton, that we're hopeful to work with in the future. This is what was the home of the Galaxy Brewing. There's a young developer that's interested in making that an entertainment venue, movie theater, music venue, and sort of barcade or beer tasting venue. So some neat projects through there. So we're excited to receive that honor. Today at 2 o'clock, assuming we are wrapped up, Matthew Paulus has invited us to participate in the grand opening of Ansco Lofts, a great project that we supported, and great news, he is 100% occupied. So a neat project.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's just amazing what he's done with that building, and it's full. I mean, that's just great.
So we hope to lure him into doing more projects here in Broome County in the future.
There's a Ramada Inn on Front Street.
Let's
to take that.
Yeah, we got others, see where this came from. We had our, Teresa, Tom and I had our pre-audit meeting with Insero, so we will begin that process in earnest. They'll be in town next week, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in that range. They'll be starting our audit process for both the IDA and the LBC, again with the goal of making our March 31 Paris reporting guideline for the ADO. So all systems are a go for that process.
Are you gonna need me to be present for any one of those?
At some point, yes,
Okay.
yeah, at some point, I think, they'll start going through the files, and then what we usually do is have a session with our
Okay.
treasurer for sure, and preliminary finding or preliminary
All right, so you're not gonna
questions
need
they
me
have.
next week?
No,
Okay.
no, they'll just be kind of setting up shop here in our boardroom for a couple days. And then lastly, the only other item I wanted to report, it is our annual Economic Development Council conference in Albany, in January. One has somewhat of a focus on governance and legislation, so we'll be bringing back items that we anticipate could be taken up by the legislature this year. That is Tuesday through Thursday. Myself, Natalie, and Brendan will be attending that. Other than that, that's it, unless anyone has questions on anything, past or present.
Stacy, thank you. Internal financial reports, are there questions relative to the draft? What is now the draft comparison to budget through December 31st? All done?
Like that report.
Bottom line, makes you happy?
Yep.
Relative to our cash situation or our loan situation, any questions on that?
I just want to reassure the board that we don't have $306,000 sitting in a non-interest bearing account.
You've never forgotten that, have you?
No, I have not. The reason it sat there at the end of the year was that's when a treasury note came due. And we couldn't do anything until January 2nd, and it got moved on January 2nd, all of it. All with the exception of $1,000.
Any questions on those documents or John's comments? Okay. New business. Resolution accepting an application from Davish Holdings LLC and authorizing the sales and use tax exemption in the amount not to exceed $20,400, consistent with the policies of the agency in connection with the acquisition and renovation of the property and building at 31 Front Street, City of Binghamton, Broome County, New York. Stacy?
Yeah, so this is an application for our sales tax exemption program. Davish Holdings is also known as Chance and Anderson Architecture. They have purchased 31 Front Street. I believe they did close on that, or are near closing on that, the former Save Around Decker Mansion building. And they will renovate that for their offices, retain all their current positions, maybe an anticipated growth of a job or two over time. But it's an exciting project for the city and to restore that building, I think, to what it should truly look like. So the total savings is $20,400. Does not require public hearing at this point, so we can go for approval.
Thank you. Did this come out of governance?
We didn't have a quorum on this particular issue, so it comes to the full board.
Okay.
I need to abstain from it.
All right. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we
First,
have-
second.
and we have one abstention. Thank you. Resolution accepting an application from Great Eastern LLC for a sale leaseback or a leaseback transaction to facilitate the financing of the acquisition, renovation, and equipping of the facility in the town of Union and village of Johnson City, Broome County, New York, and authorizing the agency to set and conduct a public hearing with respect thereto, including a payment in lieu of tax agreement and sales tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $80,000. Stacy?
Yes, first thing I'd like to point out is you should have at your a spot at the table, a revised project review form, cost benefit, and pilot schedule. That was something that we noticed an error in our formula on our calculations. Minor error, we fixed that, we reviewed that with the applicant, and so please refer to those documents on this. The project is the acquisition of 60 Leicester Avenue in the village of Johnson City. That was, I believe, constructed by Achieve for their facility at one point in time. So the property has not collected taxes previously, so this project will put this on the tax rolls. The project is to renovate and equip the facility for the purposes of hemp processing and extraction. The total investment is a little over $11 million with an anticipation net new job creation of 40 new jobs over 3 years. Again, you have the cost benefit and project review form in your materials if you have questions on those. The applicant, Brian Haynes, is here, and we're representing the Great Eastern Hemp, who we started engaging with several years ago on their interest in doing a project here in Broome County. They have had conversations with both the assessing unit and town and village on this project. It is a standard pilot, so it does not require additional municipal approvals other than this board.
So we're moving to accept. Are there questions of Stacy or Brian?
I'm just curious on the jobs. What kind of jobs are they, and where are they in the pay range? Where
Okay.
Yeah, right.
We have it on the,
Sitting behind Dan.
you have the whole list in the package. The minimum is $30,000. Those are people, basically laborers, taking the stuff off the trucks, loading it into the machines.
Okay.
And then there'll be.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Office personnel, supervisor will have chemists, organic chemists, both senior and probably somebody from the university as a junior, administration.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't pick it up.
What's your initial, like your first year, how many do you anticipate?
12,
It's all
12,
your initial
15,
hire,
yeah,
and then it'll grow to 40 over 3 years.
yes.
Must be my day for text messages. My apologies for that. Thank you, Brian. Are there any other questions for the applicant or for Stacy? Is there a motion?
This comes to from the governance committee as a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Resolution authorizing the executive director to execute on behalf of the agency a sales agreement for the sale of property located at Charles Street in the city of Binghamton, Broome County, New York. Stacy.
Yes, so this is the transfer of the remaining acreage that we own at Charles Street. There's about 6 acres that we still control over there. So the contract is for the transfer of that on the terms that the city would provide $20,000 in down payment on those properties. And as they sell, we would get paid on those parcels as they sell. It mirrors an agreement we already have with the city on the 15 acres that we transferred to them last year. As you recall, we were working for some time on the potential sale to Save Around. They've since acknowledged that this time they're no longer interested in it. We reached out to Mayor David, who's expressed over time much interest in controlling those parcels at Charles Street. I believe they've already gone through their approval process at the city. Both councils have reviewed the contracts, and we are ready to move forward.
No, I presented it to the Corp Council. I haven't heard back, but again, it's basically the same agreement.
Are there questions of Stacy or Joe? Is there a motion?
Yeah, it comes from the governance as a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Jim? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Resolution authorizing the executive director on behalf of the agency to renew the agency's contract with Hugh for digital account services from March 1st, 2020 to February 28th, 2021. Natalie?
Thank you, John. We've worked with Hugh for about 6 years now. They're responsible for the agency rebrand and our updated website. They were also instrumental in creating the Good Life program and the branding for our BRD program, which is highly successful. For 2020, we would like to continue using Hugh's services for all of the agency creative work and website maintenance and updates. The contract amount and scope of work has not changed. It will stay the same as the one that was approved in 2019.
Are there questions of Natalie? Are there comments? Is there a motion?
That comes from governance as the form of a motion to approve.
Is there a second, Dan? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Resolution authorizing the executive director on behalf of the agency to renew the agency's contract with Freshie Sites from February 1st, 2020 to January 31st, 2021. Natalie?
Thank you. We've worked with Freshie now for the past 2 years. They're responsible for the new and improved Broome is Good website and all of the Broome is Good social media, along with the Good Life Made in Broome stories. You'll see that we have lessened the monthly retainer quite significantly, and their scope of work. Freshie will now just be responsible for all of the website maintenance and all of the social media content. We'll now move the Good Life and Made in Broome stories in-house. If anybody has questions?
The only question I would raise is, do we have the capacity time-wise? Because I know everybody's got a pile of stuff to do to keep up with it.
Yes. We do.
Okay.
It'll work. It'll work. Okay. Are there any other questions for Natalie?
Yeah.
Looking for a motion.
Comes from governance in the form of a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Joe, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Is there a motion to go into executive session to discuss real property?
Motion.
Second.
John, second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are in executive, we're about to be in